Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the troublesome reign of King John, and we get to hear from King John in Act 1, Scene 13 today, which we are going to wrap up. So we will also compare today to Act 4, Scene 2 of Shakespeare's version, but we'll get to that after this. So at the top of Act 1, Scene 13, King John was feeling good about himself and he wanted to be recoronated, which the nobles were like, that's kind of dumb. And he's like, I want to do it anyway. So they go to get that ready. And then Philip the bastard comes in and says that yes, he's been successful in getting lots of money back from the abbeys and cloisters and all of that. And also tells King John about this prophet who's around, who seems to be able to tell the future pretty well. And King John's like, oh, he'd be cool to have around. And the bastard's like, he's right outside. And John's like, hang on, I have to get coronated first. So they recoronate him, and then he's like, I know now that you all are faithful to me, so what is it that you want? Whatever it is that you ask for, I'll give it to you. And they're like, it'd be really cool if you let Arthur go. But before he can agree to that, he notices that the bastard is looking at something, and the bastard's like, there's 5 moons in the sky. So they end up bringing the prophet in, Peter, to tell them what these 5 moons are about. And Peter says that the sky is Rome, and 4 of these moons are countries that are still in line with Rome, but the smallest of the moons is England, which is flying around by itself and sort of flying in the face of Rome and the church. And John is like, well, that must be a good thing, right? And the prophet's like, well, that's just a thing, but I know from my other prophetic qualities that you will give up your crown before Ascension Day. You will be deposed. And John is furious at that. So he has the prophet arrested and taken away to be killed. And he tells the nobles that he's not going to release Arthur anymore. And Hubert comes in and says that Arthur is now dead with his eyes poked out, which didn't really happen. Remember, Hubert and Arthur decided that they liked each other too much. They're too good of friends for that to happen. So they agreed that Arthur would run away and Hubert would tell the king that he had successfully poked his eyes out and killed him. But that didn't happen. But in this scene, Hubert tells him that it was, which also very much upset the nobles. So they're like, we're not on your side anymore. This was, how could you let him be killed? He's innocent and he's family. How could you let that happen? And they sort of storm out, at which point King John says, and are you gone? The devil be your guide. Proud rebels as you are to brave me so, saucy, uncivil checkers of my will. Your tongues give edge unto the fatal knife that shall have presage through your traitorous throats. But hushed, breathe not bugs' words too soon abroad, lest time prevent the issue of thy reach. Arthur is dead, aye, and there the Courcy grows. But while he lived, the danger was the more. His death hath freed me from 1,000 fears. But it hath purchased me 10 times 10,000 foes. Why, all is one. Such luck shall haunt his game, to whom the devil owes an open shame. His life, a foe that levelled at my crown. His death, a frame to pull my building down. My thoughts harped still unquiet by his end, who, living, aimed shrewdly at my room. But to prevent that plea, twice was I crowned. Twice did my subjects swear me fealty, and in my conscience loved me as their liege, in whose defense they would have pawned their lives. But now they shun me as a serpent's sting, a tragic tyrant, stern and pitiless. And not a title follows after John, but butcher, bloodsucker, and murderer. What planet governed my nativity to bode me sovereign types of high estate, so interlaced with hellish discontent, wherein fell fury hath no interest? Cursed be the crown, chief author of my care. Nay, cursed my will that made the crown my care. Cursed be my birthday, cursed 10 times the womb that yielded me alive unto the world. Art thou there, villain? Furies haunt thee still for killing him whom all the world laments. So this is a bit of an emotional roller coaster for John. He starts off with, okay, you guys are gone. Like, good riddance. But then he goes through this whole thing where he's like, okay, they like Arthur, but if I left Arthur alive, he was a massive threat to my life and my crown. But now that Arthur's dead, all of my people hate me because he's dead. So if he was alive, I'm in danger. With him dead, I'm in even more danger. But, and you know, he's on this emotional roller coaster. So he's like, but also, I've been crowned twice. And these people swore fealty to me twice. And they would have given their lives for me. But now they're calling me a murderer. And they're calling me a bloodsucker. And they're calling me a butcher. Like, what did I do to deserve this? What cursed star was I born under? And he curses the crown for making him care, and then he curses his desire for the crown that made him care, and he curses being born, and he curses his mother for giving birth to him. And then he turns and he yells at Hubert. He's like, what are you still doing here? Like, it's your fault that this whole thing got so messed up. And Hubert is like, but I have the paper that says that I was supposed to do this, and you signed it. And John is like, well, you're going to be cursed, and you are going to be arrested, and you are going to be haunted through hell for all eternity for what you did here. And Hubert is like, whoa, 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 hang on. Arthur's not actually dead. And I didn't poke his eyes out. He's fine. He's just somewhere else. He just ran away. Like, I didn't actually go through with it. And John's like, you didn't actually go through with it. He's like, this is good. This could work to my advantage. And that's the end of the scene. So lots of emotions, lots of trickery, lots of stuff happening. And this is very similar to Shakespeare's Act 4, Scene 2. We don't actually get to see the recoronation in that scene. We start with it sort of already being done. And the order of things is a little bit different. Like, we find out from Hubert that Arthur is dead before the prophet is brought in and gives these strange portents of things to come. And there's also a messenger that comes in this scene in Shakespeare's play who lets everybody know that both Constance and Eleanor have died. In this version of the play, we don't know that. They could still be alive at this point. But it does wrap up with the nobles turning their backs on John for letting Arthur be killed, but then Hubert eventually saying, like, no, he's not dead yet. There's still a little bit of hope. So Act 1, Scene 13, Act 4, Scene 2, we're sort of caught up and we're in basically the same place, except in Shakespeare's play, we know that Constance and Eleanor are dead, and in this version of the play, we don't know what's going on with them at this point. But I'm sure we will find out in the days to come, so I'll see you tomorrow for more. Mwah.